It's the post-match phone-in, and to discuss Sheffield United 2, Luton Town 0, I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Ryman. Now, Mark, you were there yesterday,
Was.
and how was it?
I had a great day up until about 3:08. Um, like Sheffield, it's a great away day, great pubs, good company. And then the football started, and it was absolutely bloody diabolical. And anyone who tries to come out with anything positive from that game, uh, I will probably dispute it. Yeah, we looked out of ideas, out of shape. It was pretty rough going, to be honest. Um, and compounded to that, as a few people have seen posted on social media, the train that I got home happened to be half the carriages advertised, and it was full of QPR fans that had just come out of the game against Derby as well. So that was nice. Just to finish the evening off. Yeah, it wasn't great. Um, I saw the four at the back. Actually, I will say this: I panicked at the start. I was on my phone on the way up to the ground, and I had Luton News on. Luton News actually posted that we were playing 10 men because they didn't include Doughty. I thought Rob Edwards has taken the Portsmouth and Oxford 10 minutes so seriously that he was going to start with 10 men. Um, Looking back, I don't think it could have been much worse. But yeah, it was a tough watch, mate. It really was.
Yeah, I honestly like we did the podcast this morning. I got my thoughts and feelings out last night, and you know, I as we were saying before we started recording tonight, you said regarding my 1-0 prediction, you weren't expecting a 1-0 win. I wasn't. But I had sort of convinced myself that there would be fights, there would be desire, that we would have got ourselves up for this game. And that's not what we saw at all. It was really bad. It was the worst we've been this season completely. But
Yeah.
we want to hear from you. If you're listening and you want to get in touch and tell us your thoughts on the game yesterday, even if you thought we were all right, you're entitled to an opinion.
Yeah.
Let us know where do we go from here. Just get in touch and tell us, okay? We have someone in the green room, so let's welcome JK. JK is with us. Good
All
evening,
right.
JK. Hello.
You
Can
are
you un
muted currently. If you can hear us, unmute yourself, mate.
JK? Shall I give you a hand and unmute you? Oh wait, no. You should. You should be unmuted. Hello. Good evening.
So while we're waiting, while JK is getting sorted, feel free to jump in if you can hear us. By the way, one thing I was going to say, Ollie, as well, because there's a few things that we're going to talk about tonight, but just five, 5 out of 10 outfield players playing out of position. That that scares me more than anything else in terms of what his mentality is. Yes, we played four at the back, but we played Royal Walters at left back against probably their most dangerous player, and it showed because Ratsaki scored both those goals. We played Burke at right back, and actually, I thought Burke was easily our best player. We played. Can you riddle me why we played Victor Moses and Alfie Doughty on the wrong side of each wing? Because
I don't know.
I still don't understand that. I really don't. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, Jordan Clark is playing as a false nine or a forward or what? When we've got Taylor and Brown on the bench, you know, if he wants the fans to get on his back, he's going the right way about it with stuff like that. You know, I can't for a second believe that we had any preparation for a system that involves more square pegs in round holes than ever before. I mean, that's just madness, utter madness. And it played out that way on the pitch. People clearly didn't know what they were doing. Doughty was running about all round the pitch. He was on the left, then he was on the right, then he was centre back at one point while Reece Burt was centre forward. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts to watch.
It's
So
fluid
yeah, please,
football.
please keep.
It's fluid football, but it's too fluid. It's almost like diarrhea. And that's the only way I can describe it. It's like a bowel movement, but it's not a good bowel movement, and no one's understanding what they need to be doing. And
No,
you
but
you
that's
made a good point. I didn't understand Doughty on the right, Moses on the left. Like Moses has been fantastic on the right. He scored against Plymouth from the right. He made things start to happen against Oxford from the right. I just I'm out of ideas, and I'd love it if someone could call in and tell us. Like I'll listen to
yeah,
anyone's thoughts. Like, how do we turn this around? Is Rob Edwards the man to turn this around? And where do we go from here? Like JK sort of jumped off, but we have Jamie Luton. Let's bring Jamie Luton in. Good evening, Jamie. How you doing, mate?
oh Jamie,
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and
yeah, we
clear.
can hear you, mate.
Actually, I didn't actually mean to. I've spent the last 20 minutes arguing with Discord, but I've actually managed to get to work, which is a triumph based on yesterday's failure.
Congrats.
So apologies if has already been said, but I, I think the core thing is confidence for me. I think it doesn't matter what system we try and play or where people are playing. No one on the pitch, bar maybe Kaminsky, looks like they have any confidence or any backing that what they're trying to do is going to get them success.
So how do we bring confidence back to the team then?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the golden question, isn't it? And it's putting the stop on the downward spiral can be trickier and trickier. Yes, it becomes hard, and does that have to come from backroom staff to try and help instill a bit of confidence in the players? No, I'm not pretending I have the answer how they do that. But those are the guys that are paid to do it. Ultimately, hopefully the international break has kind of come at a good time where we can attempt to stop the rot a little. I'm not convinced it will, but
We said
I hope it
that.
does.
Yeah, you're right. It might not, because we said that about the last international break coming, and that we can get some, confidence in the legs of the players. But where do we go from here then? Like, go back to basics? Do you think Rob Edwards is the man to take us back to basics? Or do you think it's going to be more of the same?
I think. I mean, although he says he's willing to change, and I mean, I'm not sure. Not sure if the Sheffield game was a particularly good example of him trying to change. It was a bit random with people cross Doughty and whatnot crossing over. I think it was a bit of a we may as well try it because we haven't tried this yet. Maybe he is. Maybe he just needs to batten down, pick a system, and just as you say, stick to the basics. Look for the short pass, or even if it is, avoid this playing around at the back and think, right, let's get ourselves out of pressure and put it long. Play, kick to touch if we have to. I think sometimes I think a lot of teams are guilty of this. Try and be too proud to play it around the back. At times, I think the best thing to do is to kick it out over the halfway line, get them back up the pitch, and give ourselves the chance to reshape.
What did you think
Did we?
of the performance yesterday? Sorry, Mark. I just want to ask Jamie
No,
what he
no, it's
thought.
all right. I'll ask in a sec.
I, yeah, I think we it was just very lackluster across the park. I think we looked a little bit confused as to what we were meant to be doing and when we were meant to be doing it. Just very little to get behind, and I'm not normally a massively negative person. I don't intend to be. It would have been lovely to see a last minute goal or at least a point or something, but there was just so little to cheer about over the 90 minutes, which is not a I don't mind losing. Losing's part of football. That is what it is. But it's the way you go about it, and you could at least kick someone in the process, and we didn't really manage that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask this about Jamie. You came on to talk about confidence. Do you think that Edwards has confidence that he can change it? Because I mean, watching that for the first 45 minutes, it was diabolical. I think Sheffield United had something like 85% possession for some of it. I don't remember a time we even ventured into their half for most of that half. Yet second half, he made
19
no change.
touches. 19 touches in
Yeah,
their half
exactly.
compared to their
And you could
112.
tell. But he made no changes at halftime. One thing we've said about Edwards over the last few games is he's not been proactive at all in his changes. And when the changes did come, again they felt as random as the starting lineup. I'm not going to keep banging on about it, but Cauley Woodrow on before Taylor. Don't think Cauley Woodrow was that bad, all things considered, actually. But when you've got Taylor sitting on the bench, for me that's madness. Do you think he's lost confidence in himself as well?
I think you can see it in his interviews. I think Edwards is, rightfully questioning the methods he's putting in place, because that's what you have to do as a manager, right? You have to question whether what you're doing is working, and if it isn't what you want to do. But I think he's starting to scratch his own head a bit, and it shows. I don't know whether putting a braver face on, we can only speak for what we see in the face that he puts onto the public, and if that's the face he's putting onto the public, I'm a bit scared to think of what he looks like behind closed doors. If I'm honest, he's looked very rattled the last few post-game interviews. And I get some of that is a front to show sympathy to the fans, and that is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether you have to look for Trollope or someone like that to help give him a kick in the right direction and say, look, you need to be the one exuding confidence here. Take a couple of days off. I'll run the training sessions. Step back for a bit and let me get some spice back in the team.
Great points, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us
Thanks,
tonight.
mate.
Enjoy the rest of the show, man. Right, next we have JK back again. Let's see if JK can work it out. Hey, JK, good evening, mate. No. Nope. Doesn't seem to be working.
No.
Okay,
we'll keep trying, mate.
We'll put him back in the green room. We got Lewis now. Lewis, good evening, mate.
Lewis.
How you doing?
Hello.
Well, so we have YouTube sensation Lewis. How you doing? What were your thoughts on the current situation, and where do we go from here?
I feel like a lot of people know my answer to this, and it's not well, actually, I think it is becoming a bit of a popular choice, and that is to unfortunately say goodbye to someone who gave me a very good moment in supporting Luton Town, and that's getting rid of Rob Edwards.
Yeah, and you said it. You said it on your video as well, and it's one that a lot of people disagree about. And look, I can understand, because as you said, he did give us that moment. But do you think the performances have been good enough since Brighton, really? Going from a tight team that's losing by 1 goal to, what we're seeing this season?
I feel like in the Premier League, like, we gave him like the benefit of the doubt. Okay, then we got the injury crisis. I felt he was a little bit stubborn in not changing it during the injury crisis. With all those defenders out injured, like that Bournemouth game, for example, we kind of needed to go to like a back four, and we didn't. Blew the lead there. So you give him the benefit of the doubt of Premier League football, but now in the Championship, where it's more our level, you do expect more. There is a little bit of expectation. However, no fan has every right to expect a win every single week. You have to earn that right. Right now, we're not even earning that right. But for me,
you want to see the performances, though, right?
Yeah. You want to see that fight, which we're not even showing. And the thing for me is, since Millwall away, it's got worse. It hasn't got better. And I can accept a slow start. Our successful seasons, when we have started slowly, have ended up really well. But since Millwall, it's just gotten worse. I think every team we've played since Millwall, they could have easily have scored 4 or 5 goals. And that's the worrying thing. And like last year, for me, I think the big talking point from this year was, we want to play exciting football. We want to be brave on the ball. We had that last season. We just needed to stop conceding goals. That was the problem last year. But yet we're still conceding goals. Don't look like scoring. It's just getting worse. I just don't see it improving. And I don't want this derby game in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I was thinking exactly the same thing earlier today about this feeling of getting worse since Millwall, and we feel like now, the opposite to the Luton way of fighting until the end. Now it looked like all of us in the ground yesterday couldn't wait for the final whistle to blow, and that includes the players and the coaching staff as well. That's so un-Luton. We were 5-1 down at Man City near the end of the season and still trying to fight for stuff. We weren't anywhere near that team. And one thing on what you're saying, Lewis, about Edwards to go, everyone's within their right to have an opinion, but those people online that suggest that those that are saying that Edwards out are fickle fans, or we are, we forgot where we came from and all of that stuff. Look at the performances. This isn't just about the results. This isn't just a 9-game decision. This is about what we're watching on the pitch and the capitulation of everything that made us Luton over a long period of time.
there's no
And
Luton
that's
left in the
scary
team.
thing. No, and it's scary. It's really scary watching that performance. It really was.
Yeah, I'm basically echoing what you're saying 110%. Like, we're not the foundations which John Still built on this football club and Nathan Jones advance are slowly getting squashed week by week now. It's not the same, and it's not just Edwards' fault, by the way. I think I think everyone plays a part, even us as fans as well, because the atmosphere at home has been absolutely shocking. And I know it helps when players put in a decent performance and do a shot, and then that gets the atmosphere going a little bit. But we'll all have to play a part here, and we knew something was off before the season started with the slow business. That's never like us. So something's happened behind the scenes, I think. Whether that's Edwards not getting what he wants in terms of targets. In fact, I think it's quite clear we didn't get our number 1 picks. But under Nathan Jones, you can never really tell. You really think Nathan Jones didn't get his number 1 picks? He probably didn't, but still got the results, still got the performances, still got the fight. And we're still not seeing it, and it worries me. And like you already said in the stream, playing players out of position, 4 or 5 of them out of position, that is the concern. 'Cause that looks like to me a man who's run out of ideas now.
It does tend to be the way for managers, like when they are frantically looking for something to work, and it's just, I'll put this player here, I'll put this player there, and swap this player around. What did you make of the Clark experiment, playing him as a false 9?
Honestly, if it wasn't Edwards after the game, so I still thought we were playing a back 5. That's how bad we were. I didn't think it was a back 4 until he said it on the interview on BBC Three Counties. I was just like, were we playing a back 4? I couldn't tell. I thought Walters was playing as a left-sided wing back. I didn't really know what Moses' position was. I was assuming striker / left winger with Elijah, but then they were playing 2 apart. I didn't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, it's just sometimes I'm watching. I'm like, I don't know what I'm seeing, and a lot of people keep saying like, oh, if you sack him, who's the replacement? I hate that. I hate when people say that because only because there's not a clear replacement. It doesn't mean you keep the same guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, this is a point on Edwards, isn't it? This is a point of whether he's going to be the person to take us forward, not the next person coming in under the rank. That's a different argument. But no, I mean, we were arguing in the stand what our system was for 45 minutes. So you weren't on your own there, Lewis. We saw it as well. And like I said earlier, Doughty was all over the place. All over the place.
Yeah, well, some people said like he's been our standout player, but then even then, if he's been our standout player and he's created the most chances from crosses and so on, some of our set pieces have been absolutely shocking this season. There's no like real plan B. I can't remember the last, straight corner from a headed goal, unless it's from a second or third phase. I can't remember like a direct goal from a corner.
No, I can't.
No.
I can't remember that. What is scoring a goal from a corner? Oh,
What is
Lewis,
scoring a goal?
yeah, Lewis, you've hit so many nails on so many heads. I'll have to love you and leave you because we have a queue of people waiting to have a chat now. Thank you for joining us, mate, and I'll see you
No
soon.
worries at all, man. See you soon.
That was Lewis. I imagine you're all subscribed to him. He's got like 3,500 subscribers compared to our 861. So if you're listening to us, it's very likely you're subscribed to Lewis. So, but if you're not, subscribe to Lewis because he is absolutely fantastic. And if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to us, subscribe to us. Loads of Luton Town content.
Yep.
Let's bring in the next person. Oh, we had Matt, but Matt's gone. Matt, if you're listening, please come back, and it'd be great to have you on. But let's bring in hashtag in Tom Lockyer we trust. How are you getting on this evening, Si?
I'm not in.
You are in.
Oh God, I saw there was a queue today, so I caught the last bit of what the other guy was saying there. Sounded like me with the corners.
Yeah, we just don't score them, do we?
We won on the corner count.
Who's looking forward to a lovely international break full of, I'm sure, lovely conversation and tolerant views between each other? I can't wait. It's going to be excellent, isn't it?
I'm turning my phone off, mate, for 2 whole weeks.
And before I carry on, if you are one of these people sitting on Twitter going, oh, these bloody blue tick YouTube influencers, how dare they talk about what's going on? They should just accept the shit sandwich that's being served up. I've had enough of it. Listen, at the end of the day, if the football was good on the pitch, you'd have a leg to stand on. But the football's shite. We are playing shocking stuff. We look like we have completely forgot how to progress the ball up the field in an effective manner. We don't look like we're scoring from set pieces. We don't look like we know what we're doing playing out from the back. What is it we're trying to do? You had Reece Burke yesterday. I don't know what Reece Burke was doing. If the idea was for Burke to flick the ball onto Adebayo, it was a bloody terrible one. What were they thinking? And you know me, I try to be positive. It's my whole thing. I try to stay upbeat and positive. I don't want Rob Edwards to lose his job. I don't want us to be in a position where we're even thinking about it. But the reality is that's where we're at. And that's because of some very odd decisions in the team.
How do you think Rob Edwards sorts this out then?
Back to basics, 4-4-2. Back, something that we know the players are familiar with, something we know they can do, and who cares if it's a 1-0 grinding win? We could use a few of those right now. I don't know about you guys, but I don't give a toss about free-flowing, expansive football. I care about winning football matches through grit or whatever it takes.
Yeah, I'll take that 10 out of 10 times.
Absolutely. And it's just sad because now we are going to go into this international break with question marks all over the place. We're going to have people arguing. It's already happening. If you're Rob Edwards in, that's fine. If you're Rob Edwards out, that's also fine. But at the end of the day, you have to be willing to accept that not everyone's going to think the same as you. And if you're going to have a debate, keep it respectful. Far too many people get far too personal on this kind of subject, and it's so fully undeserved.
100%. It's ridiculous. Absolutely couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the justification for wanting Rob out isn't that we are fly-by-night fans. And if anyone reads any of the stuff that you or us or anyone else puts out, they'd know that after about 5 seconds anyway. The problem is that it's a very us and them culture, and we immediately we go to the divisive point. Lots of people making complaints about the chants at the end of the game. Most people were just chanting for him to sort it out. Bloody hell. I mean,
Yeah,
if you think that's toxic, that's bloody ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I said a few other things at him while he came to us as well, and they weren't claps. But if you want to clap, fine, you go for it. Look, I don't get it personally, but I'm not gonna moan about it. If you want to clap, you can. But if in this day and age when people are struggling, there's not much money to go around. We're paying the best part of 40 quid for a ticket and a train ticket and a food and drink to go and sit there and watch that shit. Then you have a right to complain about it. I mean, look, you pay your money, you take your choice of football. We know that it can happen, but you are within your rights to make your voice heard on this. And there's a justification for wanting him gone, and it's got nothing to do with short-termism. I really don't think it does.
I echo everything you just said there. And another thing, right? These accounts who have got nothing to do with Luton Town, who have got tens of thousands of followers going, oh, well, you should just be grateful. You should just be grateful that you're there. No, yeah. I don't think we should be grateful to be there. Not now. You're not now. Maybe when we first came into the Championship, we did feel grateful to be there because of where we had been. But not now. We have never had more money as a club. We have made a lot of errors in regards to our transfer dealings, if you ask me. I'm not going to dig out anyone in particular because it's just a pointless debate to have. The football's crap all over the pitch. You can't point at anyone in particular. At the end of the day, you can't sack the players mid-season. And if anyone's going to get it, it's the manager. And that's just the way that football is.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. Well said. Look, it is just so difficult to... Everyone's looking for someone to blame. Everyone's looking for fingers to point at. The old guard, they'll blame the YouTubers for stirring up sentiment and influencers. I think Luton Town fans got called an influencer the other day. Everyone just wants this to be sorted out. But sometimes when a manager is too far gone, in my opinion, they can't sort it out. It just becomes, a spiral, and results get worse, performances get worse as well. And we've seen that. Like, I've seen it in the comments here. People were saying, I thought Millwall was a turning point. So did I. Rob seemed really down about that result, but I thought that was a good 3 points away at the Den.
Absolute we all said it on the day.
Yeah, it was great. We were all happy.
Yeah,
we were all happy with that, and that was something to build on because we defended well. Yes, there was one or two mistakes, but that was it. And then we followed it up with Sheffield Wednesday, and we thought, okay, well, we got the win. Maybe we can springboard off that, but it just wasn't the case. Simon, thank you very much for joining us tonight,
no
mate.
Worries, guys.
Going to get the next one on.
Next time.
And you, mate. Take care.
Right. Next up, we have Ash. Ash, thank you for joining us again, mate. How are you getting on this evening?
Yes.
Oh, it's lovely to talk to you. It's a lot. I'm getting a bit more experience now.
Delighted to have you here. Soon you can take my job, mate.
I think you're doing an excellent job again. Once again, both of you. Thank you for doing a great job, both of you. I just want to say, look, we got a really brilliant team. There's just something not right about the team. I just don't know what the problem is, really. I don't really know where to start.
Do you think it comes down to the manager being able to motivate the players? Do you think the players have started believing hype? Like, where do you think the performances are coming from?
Well, I'm being blessed here. I've got my season ticket back after so many years, and I sit in the Kenworth, and this is my season back after maybe about 4 or 5 years. I used to sit in Oak Road End, and this season I would say there's something not right about the players.
Do you think maybe some are agitating for moves, or why do you think it is?
I think what it is I think they just want to move on. I when I look at the players, you just feel, yeah, that's it. I think whatever you're saying, you've got a lot of experience in what you're saying. You're spot on. Compared to all the other YouTubers, I would say that you both are outstanding. It's really interesting. I wish you did this last season. We do miss Ross Barkley, but if you look at Pelly Ruddock, like I was trying to talk to you I think it was 2 weeks, but Pelly Rudd, look at what his confidence is completely gone. You know, when all the fans are on his back, and look what Nathan Jones done. He done a brilliant job with a small budget. Like Berry, what a player Berry was, and now he's gone to Charlton. You know, it's like people thought I was mad at the start of the season for going for, Jones. If you look last season, when they were in the Premier League, the amount of games they lost after Bournemouth, then you look at the way they're playing now. What I did at COVID was I used to go and watch them train, and the training ground.
Did you used to walk up the dual carriageway?
Yeah. No, down Park Street. You can go there and watch them. My old school was South Luton, so I used to go down there with my older son and watch him at COVID. And you can tell what Berry used to do with Nathan Jones. You know those goals Berry scored last season? Yeah, he scored a few goals last season. Well, he was learning that with Nathan Jones. And those headers he did, he used to work really hard. My issue is with the team now is I think the coach needs to be replaced. We need someone who's maybe someone who's Luton, Lawless maybe as a manager. But my issue, what I'm trying to say is that I just want to make it short because I want other people to get on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need someone like Nick Harford or a younger Brian Steen, Ricky Hill type. It's like myself. I sport with Luton since 1990, and I was lucky. I saw a little bit of Jim Ryan when they were in the Premier League, which was, the Division 1. I was lucky, so blessed. I'm so lucky to see this type of football. It was really good back in those days. As a young kid, I think I was probably about 12 years old, nearly 13 around that time, seeing Gaza. But all I'm trying to say is that there's something just not right about this manager, and I think he should do the right thing and just give someone who's more hungry, maybe a Lawless or someone like I think what's his name? I can't remember his name. What's his name? Hilton.
Oh, Hilton. He's still doing his badges at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe
I don't think his time at Luton's over by any stretch, Danny Hilton.
Assistant manager or something in the future. But like I said, I'm not trying to be too negative, but if you look at the way they treated Paddy Ruddock over the last year, is this someone? Look at what Nathan Jones did with Pelly, and look at him now. Does he look like the same player that he was a couple of years ago?
That's a good point, Ash. It's a really good point. Thank you, Ash.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it, mate. Yeah, take care. Thank you for the kind words.
Thank you.
See you next one.
Thank
you,
you,
buddy.
Bye.
Yeah, Ash was talking, wasn't he, about those players. Someone put it on Twitter. I apologise to that person. I can't remember who it was, but I remember looking at it and agreeing to the point where they said something like, we've lost Hilton, we've lost Berry, we've lost Potts, and it's this kind of no dickheads mentality taken to its nth degree, and now we've got no one with any fight whatsoever.
That sounds like a Mark the Hatter tweet, doesn't it?
It does. It wasn't Mark the Hatter. I remember if it was, but it was a really good point. And we have lost all of those characters out of the dressing room and in the backroom staff a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
reading some of the comments here. By the way, if you want to get involved, the Discord link is in the description. Just go down, have a look at it. I see in the chat it says, from Will Foster, my partner in crime on Hatters Heritage. Get Pleaty in, director of football. That's actually that's. I was discussing with Will. Like, let's get David Pleat in and like some young shouty boy. You know, someone to do his shouting for him. I think that would go big guns. I'd
He's
love
at most
it.
games these days now.
He
as well,
is.
isn't
He
So,
is. You know, he's not at Spurs anymore, so why not?
No, well, no, exactly.
Right.
There's a few, aren't there? In terms, there was just one more comment on here that was Peter Atkinson said on the subject of managerial replacements. There are currently managers out of work. Alex Neil, Gary Rowett, Graham Potter. Don't think Potter would come to us, although it'd be nice. Mark Warburton, Dean Smith, all with good championship experience. Yeah, you're right. There are managers, and Schumacher's been mentioned a few times, that are out there that have done well in this league. There's certainly not no options for us.
I thought Dean Smith was working in the US, but I could be wrong. Look, there aren't many like in the free agent market at the moment, but we're never going to go to a team and be like, "Oi, let us have your manager," especially after doing a payoff. I guess we'll have to see. But let's bring in Tyler from T-Boys TV. Big shout out to Tyler, actually. Like, if you like live watch-alongs, give him a follow. Tyler's the man. Right, good evening, Tyler.
Good evening. You can hear me all good, yeah?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, thank you for that. But yeah, the game yesterday, it was disappointing. Now, going into it, you know, a lot of us obviously expected, you know, to unfortunately lose just due to, you know, how consistent they've been at the back. You know, and the fact that we've been struggling to score really, especially, you know, up front, obviously Elijah and stuff. But going into it, it's a disappointing game. Like, there was no fight, no passion. You know, I was at that first half and I was thinking to myself, that's the worst first half in my opinion of the season. We didn't show anything. We didn't cause anything. It was just very lackluster, I felt. You know, we were giving them a lot of chances. And they weren't even in, you know, full gear, really. You know, they had no Hamer playing as well, starting, which, you know, was a bit of an interesting one, but it didn't matter in the end. They still, you know, got good players all around. And it was just awful. We just weren't doing anything. You know, it's very frustrating. And it was just like, you know, like I said, coming out of it on my channel, you know, we come out of that game and we should be competing with them, really. You know, we've both got good enough squads and we're just not even doing that. And, you know, you look at their wins against, you know, the teams that you would say would finish a bit lower in the table. And we've played similar sort of opposition and our wins haven't been convincing. Yes, they haven't scored goals galore against the teams they've played, but they've managed to keep clean sheets and they've looked solid, you know, for the majority of them games. And we just haven't. And it was just awful. It's very, very disappointing.
They have a system that works, and when you look at it as well, we finished 10 points above them last season.
Yeah.
But they've had a hell of a window. They've signed pretty much everyone that's not nailed down, and some great players. And, you know, if there are Blades watching, like, I apologise for saying Wilder was the one holding you back. Although, to be honest with this as well, we gave Sheffield United all the respects in the world. We didn't put a foot in. We weren't contesting balls. So we didn't exactly make it difficult for them. But where do we go from here, Tyler?
Well, I really don't know, because I've got to that stage now where I am Rob Edwards out. I have to be honest. You know, it's the stubbornness for me. And, you know, I was talking to someone yesterday and I've never seen him like that. He's a Luton fan, obviously. I've never seen him like every single game he's at, home, away, whatever. You know, all the Premier League games last year, all the games this season, you know, throughout his whole time. And he was saying to me, you know, you could tell he had a few bevies, but he was like to me, you know, he was just like, this is the first time I've probably gone to a game in about 2 years and I'm not confident whatsoever that we can even get a result. You know, it's the stubbornness for me. It's just annoying. And it's just like, you know, even when he's like going, yeah, I've changed it up and it still ain't worked. Yeah, because you're putting Jordan Clark up front. That's the guy ever played up front in his life. I just don't understand. And it's just, you know, like a lot of fans, it's the repetitive, you know, post matches. They're just getting frustrated now, aren't they? And for me, you know, what our problem is now, and this is why, you know, I don't think we will get rid of him yet, is because of that contract situation. Because we've done that, I feel we're going to look at it and feel, well, you know, we got to pay out sort of thing. And then I think, I don't know about the Derby game coming up, because I'll be honest, I do think right now we probably lose that game, like majority of people in the chat, yourselves as well. If we lose really bad, then yes. But then again, I look at it, well, you know, it sort of give them the satisfaction, you know, the Watford fans, and he don't really want that. And I just feel now, you know, he's tried everything he can, but it's just not at that level for me. And what I see a lot as well, which frustrates me, is a lot of people like within his team on the sidelines as well doing more shouting than him. You know, it's frustrating. I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, but I saw the goalkeeper coach a lot doing stuff as well. I was thinking, well, he can't be shouting at Kaminsky, because Kaminsky's, for me, he was the best player again. Because he prevented it from being about, you know, ridiculous amount, like always, pretty much. And they weren't even in full gear, like I say. So it's just frustrating, you know, for me. And I just feel a lot of it's not working. And yeah, just certain decisions you see as well. Like I say, Clark in the, you know, he's never played up front in his life, has he? Even at
He's played a winger. He was a winger, like an inside forward at Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
exactly.
as a false nine,
then that's been more of a right side, doesn't it? Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So for me, I would personally push the button, just because he's not going to change it up. You know, we've got 2 weeks now. We've got an international break, and obviously Luton won't say it openly, but we will be looking at targets, because that's just what we do. So I just feel it's a great opportunity going into that derby, because, you know, we all think we'll lose the derby right now. You know, I'll be very surprised if anyone actually thinks we'll win it at this moment in time. And you look at it and you think to yourself, well, if anyone, you know, do you want that pressure on him when he's had all this pressure and he's not living up to it? He's not changing it. He's just saying the same thing over and over again. Like, it doesn't give you confidence going into the next load of games at all.
The post-match is definitely very frustrating. Sorry, Mark, you can go ahead. I'm gonna, go for it.
I was just going to go on the point about, you know, when and if they pull the trigger. Part of me thinks that Gary Sweet wants to make a point that we're so unlike Watford, who got rid of Edwards after what it was 10-11 games, that he would hold on just to make the point of how much better we are as people, as a football club, etc. That's probably what I think might happen. But you're right, an absolute hammering by Watford might change things on that front. But that's my concern.
We got a comment here from Jason Long saying not enough is being made of Berkey's interview yesterday, saying we need to be going back to basics and be more nasty. Now, Tyler, do you think that is Burke sort of turning on Rob Edwards, or did you interpret it differently? Because I tweeted that. I interpreted it as Edwards is losing the players. The players are like looking at his tactics and thinking, what is this we're playing? Let's just, you know, all be compact, be hard to break down, go direct. What did you make of that?
I'll be honest, I haven't actually managed to see the interview. But given by what I'm seeing there, I look at it and I think, well, you know, he's spot on, because wasn't he more, you know, apparently there was a change in formation, obviously, like we say with Clark and that. So wasn't he on the right back or something?
Burke was right back, but he was everywhere. Yeah, Burke was like properly overlapping everything.
When we had that bit of a spell towards the last 10 minutes, he was up there a lot. But yeah, I agree. You know, it's frustrating because, you know, the way we're trying to play football, we're trying to play like Man City. You know, we're not Man City. Loads of teams do this nowadays. You know, you see Southampton try it. Burnley tried it to a certain extent last year. No one could do that. You know, we know they're the best in England, but no one's as good as them. You know, and it's just frustrating. We need to. Why is there no 4-4-2s nowadays? I rarely see that formation in football. And for me,
they're derivatives, aren't they?
Yeah,
like
we just
4-1,
need to
4-1.
4-3-3. You know, we just need to change it. but we won't with him, and it's just frustrating because it's like we all see the problem. We're not football managers, but we can see the problem. What can he not see that we can see? And even the coaching staff as well. It's just like, what is going on here? And it's just, I don't know at this point.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate it, mate.
No worries.
That was Tyler. If you're not following T-Boys TV, go follow T-Boys TV. Great channel, really great channel. And if you want to get in touch, please do. Just remember, Discord link is in the comment. I saw Matt was flitting in and out of the green room.
Yeah.
Look, if we see you, we'll put you in, providing we're not talking to someone. Oh, yeah. Oh, Mark, where do we go from here?
Well, there's a couple of blades that were on here. So Mike mentioned it. I follow you guys week in, week out, but seen a little bit of you. Don't follow you guys week in, week, but seen you a bit this season. What do you think has happened? And that's basically the conversations I was having after the game. I stopped for a drink at the end and had a chat with a couple of Sheffield United fans, and they couldn't believe the chalk and cheese of our side. I mean, you said it already. We finished 10 points above them last season, but every game we've played them. You know, even the loss at Kenilworth Road was pretty poor, but we gave them at least something. We gave them a game. You know, 2 poor penalty decisions, but we gave them a decent. You know, we gave them some fight. They deserve to win it. Don't get me wrong, but we gave them a game. The last 2 games that we've had at Bramall Lane, we've won, and because we stayed in games and fought. And I mean, they couldn't believe the drop off from a team that essentially is mostly made up of a similar team that played in the Premier League, bar obviously 2 major players. But you know, the whole conversation was about, you know, Barkley and Lokonga, etc. But yeah, we knew they were going. It's what Simon Oxley said last week. We all knew they were going. I don't know why we wouldn't have adapted a system that works for the players that we've got, and if anything, typified it more as that game.
Well, I've said it as well. You know, you rebuild them in the aggregate. You know, Ross Barkley was levels above anyone we've had, but he was great going forward, going back. So, you know, you rebuild him with a defensive midfielder and like a Jed Wallace type. It's it's frustrating. It really is. I see we got a Watford fan as well in the comments. Kate, boot him.
I'm surprised it's taken them like this long to join, to be honest. I was expecting it for at least the last couple of games.
As Rio saying, please keep Edwards till the 19th. Look, I don't see him going anywhere. I just hope we sort of can he remember how we played when he took over in the 22-23 season. That is what we need to do. We need to play exactly like that.
I think he's lost himself. I think he's really forgotten who he is as a manager and everything else since then. You know, it feels like he hasn't. He's lost the ability to bring himself out of this funk, and that's why a lot of people are saying, well, he has to go, because if he can't motivate himself, that's a problem. I mean, he looks so dejected. Obviously, he would do, but he doesn't look like he's got the answer. You know, Nathan Jones, after we would lose, would, you know, throw every toy out the pram going, blame the referee, blame the ball boys, blame the ticket prices, blame everybody but him. But he would, wouldn't he? You know, and for some, that was his downfall as well. But it showed that he wouldn't accept that it was on him, and therefore he believed that he could change it. Whereas I feel like Edwards, he said loads of times, you know, it is on me, it's on me, it's on me. Yeah, okay, it is on you, and I don't mind him saying that, but he should also be going, we were absolutely shocking today, and it wasn't good enough. And,
saying it as it is.
Like, come on, you don't have to dig individual players out. I don't necessarily agree with that, but he should have been like hammering that performance. Hammering it, and it was more or less he restrained himself from saying we were good apart from the 2 goals or between both boxes, but generally I know, but the idea that I changed it up, you know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You changed it up by playing people out of position, not just basic changes that people clearly wanted. But he should have hammered it. He should have absolutely hammered that performance, because it just wasn't good enough. And that worries me that he just therefore doesn't think he can fix it.
Do you think it's not that he can't fix it, or that he doesn't care enough to fix it? Because
No, I think
my take home from it was he's just like, he just, he's lethargic. The post matches, he hasn't got that energy. He hasn't got that zip.
yeah, no, I don't think he doesn't care. No, I think almost probably the opposite. I think
He cares too much.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think so. I think it's probably more that, I genuinely believe, and I also didn't think Nathan Jones was going to start off as Stoke, so make of that what you will. But I genuinely believe that he's a good person. But I think he wants to do well, and he wants us to do well so much that he's lost all perspective and confidence, and I think that's the problem. But for whatever reason it is, it's really worrying, because it is toxic, and you can see it, behind the scenes as well as on it.
Well, we have time for one more call. If anyone wants to get in touch, just hit that link in the Discord. Well, in the comments of the Discord. Well, no, the comments on this YouTube video. It will give you a Discord link that will take you to the green room, and we will see you in there, and then we'll drag you into the chat. A couple more comments. Liam Quinn. Hi, Ray. Reeks of desperation, utterly bizarre choices, and just ignoring the obvious and easy decisions. Yeah, I can see that. Hatter Dave. Okay, to offer a slightly alternative view. I agree. It's not good enough, but clearly Edwards is in a bad way at the moment. Gary needs to sit down with him and work through this before hitting the button. I'm sure he has. I'm sure there have been a lot of crisis meetings. Yeah, and Kate said there, no one wants to see Edwards fail. Look, we all love Edwards because he is a nice chap. He's a really nice guy, but I just want to see him
think he
doing
genuinely
better.
cares.
Yeah,
I do think he genuinely cares. I think that, but I don't have confidence in his own self-confidence. Sorry, that sounds a bit convoluted, but I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, and we have Matt. Finally, we've seen you coming in, coming out. Evening, Matt.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. What were your thoughts on what's going on at the moment?
I'm a little bit on the fence at the moment with Edwards in terms of get rid or stay. I think some of the responsibility's got to go on the players, if I'm honest, because I don't think any of them have been that great this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's the formation and it's the tactics, but there's been a lot of times when they can't even string a couple of passes together. And that's not a tactical thing. That's a performance thing for me.
There's no passion. There's no discipline. How do we snap the players out of it then?
The biggest problem we've got, as far as I see, we've got no leaders. We've got not one leader on that pitch. Jordan Clark as the captain, where does that come from? I can't understand the thought process behind that. And all the good times we've had over the last 10 years in, League One, League Two, we had a team full of leaders, multiple leaders. We've got no one at the moment. And I don't think any of them are leaders. That's the problem. I think a leader is in your DNA. It's not something you can coach or push someone towards. I think you're either that person or you're not. And we've got a squad full of individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of people have echoed the same thing, Matt, as well. I tend to agree. I think Clark is probably one of those that would normally lead by example, but the downfall of that, of course, is when he has a poor game, as he has done for quite a number of games, and then that all falls apart, doesn't it?
I mean, to me, when he's picking a captain and you go through like Morris, you go through Clark, you go through Bell, and then I think even once this season, Pelly had it for a bit of time because he was on the pitch. It's like he's going for the people that have been here the longest. That doesn't always stack up.
Yeah, but who else is there? You can give it to McGuinness, I guess. I don't understand the performance. As you said, like, we're not doing the basic things like little passes. How do you think it's impacting the confidence of, say, a McGuinness who's just sort of been thrown in because of the price tag? He's being started game in, game out instead of being slowly brought in and integrated.
I mean, it's clear at the moment that all of them are shot for confidence. Everybody is. Edwards is, the team is, the fans are, the board will be, because they'll be like, going to the Premier League should have been like best thing ever for this football club, and it's turned out to probably be the worst thing in my lifetime.
That's an interesting perspective. In terms of the money that we've sort of raked in, that's brilliant. It is, but you'd like to see it sort of being used better or more. I've said it before, more transparency on what the money has been used for, because as far as I was aware, money was already in place for Power Courts from the sale of Newlands Park, and we sold what, £16 million of talent in the summer in Barkley, Giles, Townsend, and all that lot really. But what we've spent maybe up to 6 on McGuinness. It'd be nice to know what is actually happening, but like expand on that. Why do you think going to the Premier League is the worst thing? Do you think fans have become entitled? Are fans expecting us to go straight back up? Because myself and Mark certainly weren't. We were wildly optimistic predicting playoffs.
No, I wasn't expecting us to go straight back up, but I think the fans have got an overinflated view of how good the players are.
Interesting.
Because you think back to the transfer window when it got to maybe like a week or two beforehand, and everyone was going, "Oh no, what if we lose Mengi? What if we lose Doughty? What if we lose Adebayo?" None of them 3 have done nothing this season at all.
Yeah, but Adebayo scored 10 goals in the Premier League, and we know what he can do. I've obviously done nothing this season. That's where that's come from.
You know he can do it, but people saying, "Oh, someone's going to spend 10, 20 million on him." But if you look back at his career with us, if he doesn't hit the ground running at the start of the season, he can take 10, 12 games to get going. The Premier League team ain't going to want a striker that takes 10 to 12 games to get going.
Well, he's played 150 times and scored 48 goals for us. That's like 1 in 3 territory, which isn't bad. Let me turn this. Do you think maybe these players, the Mengis, the Doughties, the Adebayos, do you think maybe their agents have been in their ears and sort of piqued their interest and turned their heads elsewhere?
Yeah, potentially. But I'm also wondering whether they've got an overinflated view of themselves as well, slightly.
I think maybe everyone has. Yeah, because of the Prem, everyone's sort of had smoke blown up their arse, for a better lack of the word. Even Rob Edwards, like Pep and Arteta and Klopp, they're all like saying, "Keep doing what you're doing, Rob. Even I don't press in the box at Anfield, Rob." I think he took that one as a compliment.
The other problem we've got is we've lost the momentum of, like if you think back to the League One season when we went, whatever it was, 20, I don't remember what it was, 7 games, was it, unbeaten?
Yeah.
When we had that winning feeling. Last year, obviously, we knew it was going to be tough. But after January, it was tougher than any of us would have imagined. I had hoped that when we beat Millwall, that would be the turning point. Mm-hmm. But I think the players, even though they won 2 games on the bounce, they know they played crap. They know it wasn't a good performance, and they still possibly didn't feel like winners when they came off that pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very fair point.
The hardest part for me is it's so frustrating because I've heard it so many times from so many people, and I'm the same. I sit there and I'm like, I don't know what the answer is. There isn't a single thing. There's so much that's wrong. People talk about him changing formation, but I'm not convinced even if we go to 4-4-2, it's going to change that much.
What about if we go back to the basics?
We need to go back to being hard to beat and being ugly.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He clearly doesn't want that because he doesn't want that kind of football. But at the end of the day, fans don't really care. Fans just want to win.
3 points.
That's all they care about.
Well,
we keep playing this football, we'll be in League One.
Yeah. I actually watched someone's YouTube video the other day, and it was a championship prediction thing, and he put us down as finishing 8th, and he said, if Luton had a better transfer window, they'd have pissed this league. And I thought, yeah, you're probably not wrong there.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Matt, for joining us. You're welcome back any time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I think that was a very successful phone-in for a very unsuccessful match, don't you think?
It certainly was. Yeah, plenty of opinions and all valid. All valid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us. And is there a like? I still haven't found out if there's a like
I
button
don't
on
think
these
so.
videos.
I'm
No,
not
well,
sure.
okay, well, I could just ask. I just put a thumb up
Just
at your
do it.
screen right now. You just take your thumb and me and Mark are on the screen. Just give us a thumbs up. And if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. Let's see if we can smash that, because we only started putting up videos in July 1st. It was the Lars Elstrup interview, and we've loved all of your support this whole way. It's been absolutely tremendous. So please support the channel by liking the video when it goes live and subscribing. Right, and yeah, international break, right? So
Thank God for that.
I never liked international breaks, but now it's just there's just going to be arguments. Look, everyone, remember, just be kind to each other, and I know
We all want
football's
the same
important.
thing.
We do, and football is important. Just take care of your mental health. If you're struggling, if you're having thoughts, please just talk to someone, talk to anyone you can, friends, family, because when there is no football, the great distractor, and also when your team is playing absolutely badly, it's a perfect storm for negative thoughts. So please, talk to someone if you're having problems. But we should wrap this up, shouldn't we? Yeah. International break, baby.
Can't wait to see the power court footage. That's it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, right. Everyone, take care. And thank you all for tuning in. Most importantly, come on, you Hatters.